Introduction. For centuries, humans have been obsessed with beauty and youth. We have tried everything from practices we still use today to some off-the-wall things that might make one cringe in order to maintain a youthful appearance. With the technology that we have at our disposal now, looking and feeling great is almost down to a science. Even now, scientists are uncovering new tips and tricks to maintaining a youthful appearance that will help us to stay confident and enhance our lives. While the saying is true that beauty is only skin deep, many people find that maintaining a youthful air is important to keep going on with our routines. The working world is competitive in more ways than one, and it also helps us to stay confident with our friends and partners if we can manage to look younger than our age. It is one of the best compliments one can receive, and this training will help you to uncover several anti-aging hacks that will help you to stay at the top of your game. The most important thing about focusing our lives on anti-aging is the fact that we are doing everything we can do within our power to view our bodies as machines that are either going to work in our favor or against it. So, when does the body work mostly in our favor? When we supply it with the vital components that it needs in order to stay at its peak form. Our bodies will work in our favor when we are getting the essential vitamins and nutrients. It will work in our favor when we are drinking enough water, and it will work in our favor when we are exercising. When does the body work against us? When we stop accepting responsibility for the things that we do to our bodies and what we put into them. When we decide that we can cut corners and that we can continue to go on paths full of vices and habits that are going to make it difficult for us to remain healthy. Our bodies will work against us when we are giving ourselves an excuse to make bad decisions that will harm us rather than becoming proactive and stepping up to the plate to give ourselves the reason and the motivation to make the choices that are best for our bodies and lives. If we aren't making choices that are going to help us to embrace a youthful life, then we are not going to live a youthful life. It is that simple. Whether your goal is to keep an edge in the working world or simply to make sure you are feeling as confident as possible, there are several different things that one can implement in order to prevent aging from marking its course and diminishing our confidence. We don't have to accept aging at face value. We can take control over our bodies and lives and do everything possible to prevent aging from taking over our lives. This training will show you how. The importance of taking care of your skin. When most people think of anti-aging, most of the time what they really want is to make sure that their skin does not show the typical wear and tear that naturally comes with growing older. Over time, we often develop habits that make our bodies suffer, and eventually we begin to see the results of these poor choices. Fortunately, there are many ways that we can begin to address the bad habits that can cause our skin to look more aged than we are comfortable with. This training will cover these anti-aging hacks in the videos to come. The first and foremost of these tips, however, is to do everything possible to take care of your skin and keep it hydrated. If you are not using a good skincare regime now, then it is something to seriously consider for the future. Our skin is what shows the appearance of age, probably more than most other things, besides perhaps gray hair. If you want to have the appearance of youth, what you do and don't do for your skin will really make a difference. Everything that we do has a consequence. If we aren't taking care of our bodies to the best possible extent, then ultimately there will be consequences for that. Make sure the consequences that you manifest are the most positive possible. Our skin is made up of 3 very important layers. The external layer is called the epidermis and contains the protein keratin, which is what eventually continues to grow as our skin cells die and are removed in flakes. It also contains Langerhans cells, which are a preventative measure our bodies take to ward away bacteria and viruses, along with other things that could ultimately end up making us sick. Our skin insulates us, protects us from water and intense temperatures, and keeps our inner workings safe from sun damage. It also gives the brain signals through our nerve endings when everything is operating fully. Ultimately, it is one of the most important organs in our body, although it can be easily argued that every organ in our body is pretty important. The layer of skin below the epidermis is called the dermis, and it is also very important. It is more to do with the way things work beneath the surface, such as with the temperature regulation by controlling our blood flow. For example, when it's cold outside, our skin will constrict the flow of our blood, while when it is hot, it actually allows the blood to circulate more quickly so that heat can escape through the surface of our skin. Our bodies can cool themselves using natural thermodynamic methods, including sweating. However, when we sweat, it releases toxins from our bodies that can stay trapped on the skin unless we deal with them quickly. That is why it is so important to keep our skin clean, especially if we want to reduce signs of aging. Knowing the importance of our skin and how it works can be a vital element in preventing aging from showing up on it. When we understand just how important skincare really is in our daily regimen and caring for our bodies in general to help us get ahead of aging before it's too late, then we will have the tools at our disposal to live a life with the vitality of youth and the confidence to match it. This training will show you how. Staying out of the sun for health's sake. Many people go through life feeling the pressure to look a certain way in order to feel confident and be accepted by their peers. We want to be attractive, youthful, and confident. And a lot of people find that one of the aesthetics they thrive for is to be tan. Tanning is a natural process that a lot of people in the Western world have succumbed to encouraging. Sitting out in the sun, rubbing oils on the body so that the sun's rays are attracted to our skin to give it that pleasing, darkened glow, is something so common that it's almost bizarre to consider that it could be harmful. Unfortunately, the UV rays from the sun can actually cause damage to the skin and cause wrinkles. It can also, over time, cause skin cancer. The negative effects are enhanced greatly if you end up getting sunburnt frequently. This can dry out your skin and cause untold damage to it that can present itself in the form of wrinkles and other blemishes. When you do get sunburnt, it is important to deal with it immediately. Using things like aloe vera cream will help you to heal your skin and keep it hydrated despite the damage that has already been done. It will help to do some damage control and provide some relief from the pain of the sunburn as well. Overall, it is incredibly important to make sure that you are smart about your sun exposure. You want to keep your skin hydrated whether you are in the sun a lot or not, but to prevent wrinkles and dryness, making sure to moisturize becomes even more important. When you go outside, you could try to make sure that you only do so during hours when the sun's rays are not as extreme in temperature. Another thing that you can do is to wear clothing that will protect your body from the harmful UV rays of the sun. Wearing hats, long-sleeve shirts, sunglasses, and even carrying a parasol can be good ways to keep your skin smooth and pristine and prevent yourself from having to suffer from the consequences of negative UV ray exposure. UV rays are a threat to anybody who gets sun exposure. It is difficult to predict when or how one might get cancer, but skin cancer is more prevalent in those who spend a lot of time out in the sun. Don't make the mistake of using suntanning oil over sunscreen. Don't purposely expose yourself to tanning beds or natural UV rays for a temporary attempt at glowing and beautiful skin. Instead, do everything that you can to keep your body safe from the harmful rays. Even if you don't get skin cancer, it will still damage and dry out your skin and could ultimately cause wrinkles and contribute to age spots. Our society has a tendency to glorify the people who look vibrant and tanned without really getting into the details about how damaging the sun can be for our skin. It is a dangerous industry, and we will have more long-term beauty if we are able to avoid overexposing ourselves to the sun's rays. Instead of spending money on trying to heal the damage caused by years of sun exposure, do yourself a favor and prevent it, starting now. Bad habits to avoid to prevent aging and preserve youthfulness. A lot of us have habits that we perform daily without even thinking twice about it. We may not even think of them as bad habits and simply functions that we perform in order to go about our days. However, did you know that rubbing your eyes is actually considered dangerous to your skin, especially for those who are concerned about the effects that aging can have on their appearance? Well, it's true. When we rub our eyes regularly, it can actually cause damage to the skin around our eyes. This is because it is so thin there that when we rub it, we can easily damage the blood vessels surrounding it. This can lead to decreased blood flow in one of the most sensitive areas in our body and a place that is highly prone to showing the effects of aging on the body. It can have several different consequences, including a darkened effect around the eyes or the thickening of the skin around the eyes as it works to consistently repair itself after our thoughtless habits. It can even lead to a lackluster effect that decreases the vibrancy of one of the most captivating parts of our bodies. It's best to avoid rubbing our eyes if at all possible, because we don't want to help our bodies age faster than it is necessary. If you've been prone to rubbing your eyes in the past, have no fear. While it can be true that our past habits can affect us in the present moment, the sooner we address our bad habits and do away with them, the faster we can begin preventing any further damage from occurring. Knowledge truly is power, especially when we use it wisely. Another bad habit to try and kick is smoking. Smoking has been known for its negative health effects, but one thing that you aren't necessarily going to hear much about is the way that smoking can age the body prematurely. When we smoke, it takes oxygen away from our cells and can even cause wrinkles around the mouth where we begin to habitually inhale. It causes nicotine stains on the teeth and sometimes fingers, and it can cause heart and lung problems as well. It can even affect your bones. All things that we want to try and strengthen as we age because of how naturally they become difficult to maintain over time. Because of the lack of circulation in the body, smokers tend to have colder extremities, such as hands and feet, and may tend to appear to be paler, or have odd coloring in the skin because the blood isn't circulating properly. Smokers also tend to suffer with baggy and droopy eyes far more so than non-smokers. The skin in general can begin to sag because the chemicals in cigarette smoke are very destructive to the skin and can break down collagen cells and damage our skin's natural elasticity. This can affect everything from our arms to our chests. Smoking can even affect our eyes themselves, causing a higher likelihood of the development of cataracts. These can impair the vision and can generally be dealt with surgically. Smokers also tend to have more age spots than non-smokers. Age spots aren't the worst thing in the world, but they can certainly make us look a little bit older than we may truly be. Smokers and people who spend a lot of time exposed to the sun are the most likely to develop age spots. Something else that isn't mentioned very frequently when it comes to the ways that smoking can make us appear older and decrease our appearance of youthfulness is the fact that people who smoke a lot are far more likely to begin experiencing hair loss. Smoking can thin the hair and excel people's predispositions towards balding to experience it at a higher rate. However, when you quit smoking, your body begins to heal. The nicotine stains on your teeth and fingers will slowly go away, and your lungs will begin to repair themselves. You may still have other health effects from smoking, but your blood will begin to circulate better, and you will have a much healthier complexion overall. Quitting smoking is one of the best things that you can do to stay youthful, so if this happens to be one of your vices, start your journey to quitting smoking today.